Hey Clay, this is Dan. I am inquiring from Portland, Oregon, in the United States. Couple questions for you. I'll try to keep them as brief as I can. Number one, storytelling. You seem to be really into telling stories with your music. That's one of the great things I love about it. I'm really into it. And I'm kind of wondering how far you're willing to go in like combining the art, so to speak. Say like a project that I really enjoyed was the album Leitmotif from the band Dredge, where there was actually in the CD booklet there was a written story with photography, and of course there was the music itself, which coincided. How willing are you to do stuff like that? Are you looking into doing stuff like that, doing like a publication arm with a fixed name, and are you taking submissions?
It's true, Dan. I can't help myself but want to tell a story when I'm presenting my music. I don't know why, but this is the way I've always been. When I make music, I see visuals and I kind of see a story unfolding in my own head, and that helps me actually create, because I'm actually scoring to a picture that I'm seeing in my head, and that's how I've kind of created my music since the beginning. I didn't go to school for that. It's just the way it was. I don't know if you're aware of it, but I actually do have an entire novel called Black Star that was based on my Wish Upon a Black Star album. So those two were tied together very closely. The story was written by Joshua Viola. It's available right now from fixstore.com. And I also decided after the fact, I did Wish Upon a Black Star, the album. That inspired the book, Black Star. And during the writing of that, I decided I wanted to create an album, an instrumental album, that inspired people while they were reading the book, that kind of just set them in the world. So I created a score to a book, which is kind of an uncommon thing, I think, but it made sense in my brain. And it's just called Black Star, the original score. That's also available. And this was kind of my first, the first time I started delving into kind of 80s inspired music, because I've always wanted to do it. And this was a great excuse for me to do that. That actually is what started me thinking about doing an entire project of 80s music. And then Scandroid was born, which is now another currently active project of mine. And then I realized after the fact that there was a scene called Synthwave, and there were other people actually doing this, but I had already done this apart from even knowing that anybody else in the world cared about 80s music. I lived through the 80s, and so I wanted to make 80s music for a long, long time. That was my excuse. But back to the original point, Black Star and the Wish Upon a Black Star album are tied together. End of an Empire, there was a story. There was a comic book that was released with End of an Empire you can get as well, called The Traveler. That's available right now as well. As I go forward, I don't know. I just do what I do. So I can't make any promises. I don't have any specific plans, but I think naturally I will probably infuse some element of story into all of my songs.